Module 28, the Wu School. I, Dr. Rita Pratap, former head of the Department, Drawing and Painting, University of Rajasthan, Jaipur. I am going to speak on the Wu School. The group of amateur scholarly painters of the Ming Dynasty who finally in the late 15th century and early 16th century re-established the literary traditions as the leading force in Chinese painting lived in Wu Hsien district of Zhejiang. The area around Suzhou were known accordingly as the Wu School. The founder of the Wu School is often said to have been the Ming painter Shen Chao, Wang Fu, He Xiacheng, Wen Chengming, Lu Qin, Chen Shun were the other followers and pupils of Shen Chao who worked in this Wu School. The first century of the Ming Dynasty passed without bringing any notable new developments in the literary school of painting. In the later generations of the four great masters of the late Yuan produced some good artists, but they were content to imitate and synthesize the individual achievements of the predecessors. The activity of the school remained localized in the Jiangnan region and especially in the vicinity of the Suzhou, which had become a major center of the scholarly culture. The group of amateur scholarly painters of the Ming Dynasty who finally in the late 15th and early 16th century re-established the literary traditions as the leading force in Chinese painting lived in Wu Hsien district of Zhejiang. The area around Suzhou were known accordingly as the Wu School. Innate art arises from free time, from education and from not being compelled to paint. The gentleman painting of the Wu School is representative of elite art of the Ming period. The gentleman scholars from the area around the town of Suzhou followed the scholar painter of the Yuan dynasty in their style of art, in their concept of life too. They were close to the Yuan scholars. They retired, but not willingly, from the official post and lived with and in nature as wanderers in the mountains or in their stylish gardens, men who had felt a relationship to nature. This prosperous area, occupying roughly the triangle between Nanking, Shanghai and Hangzhou, had long been famed for its beautiful towns, waterways and distant mountain views. During the Southern Song dynasty, it became the focus of Chinese civilization, and during the Yuan period, it remained the intellectual and artistic center of the scholars who refused to serve in the capital. By the 15th century, therefore, the Wu Hsien district already had a long history in the artistic activity of the gentleman class. Early masters of the Wu School. The founder of the Wu School is often said to have been the Ming painter Shen Chao, whose life and works are discussed below. But although he was certainly its greatest ornament, the tradition of scholarly landscape painting in Wu Hsien area had been unbroken since the Yuan dynasty. Wang Fu. Wang Fu was active from 1362 to 1416. A native of Wu district seems to have imbibed the ideals of the Yuan literates before he took up administrative post in the Ming capital. He also spent many years wandering through North China. He always remained a proud individualist, an amateur landscape painter inspired by Huang Kung Wang, Wang Meng and Ni Tizan. Wang Fu was also famous bamboo painter, and it was said of him that he had the spontaneity of Ni Tizan without his carelessness and the strength of Ko Chi Su without his impetuosity. Wang Fu's follower Hisha Chang, active from 1388 to 1470, also held prominent official posts in Peking. Yet he is noted for his fluent, easy manner of his long hand scrawls of bamboo and rocks. His earliest known dated example of 1441 is in the collection of the Art Institute of Chicago, the latest 1464 in the Freer Gallery of Art, Washington, D.C. The chief contribution of both artists was that they transformed the lofty, austere manner of the great Yuan masters into a style more easily appreciated and practiced by amateurs, and thus helped to lay the foundation for the literary painting of the Ming and Qing dynasties. Shen Chao, born into one of the most distinguished Suzhou families, Shen Chao was active from 1427 to 1509. He enjoyed two great advantages in his upbringing: the company of many noted scholars, poets and artists among his relatives and their friends. Shen Chao is considered the greatest of the literary painters of the Wu school, was trained for civil services, but pleading the necessity to look after his aged mother, request that the Confucian and administration could hardly refuse, he retired to the country to spend much of his long, peaceful life on the family estate near Suzhou. A man of deep scholarship, generous and human, he was loved and respected in the neighborhood. His painting Two Young Crows is a hanging scroll of 15th century and at present in the Museum of Far Eastern Antiquities is a good example. According to Ming records, Shen Chao followed in the footsteps of the old masters from the Qin and Tang down to Shung and Yuan dynasties. In his landscapes, he followed Tung Yuan, Huang Kung Wang and Wu Chen. He also made a close study of the works of Ni Tizan, Wang Meng and Wang Fu. Landscape in the style of Ni Tizan by Shen Chao, dated 1484, hanging scroll, ink on paper, China, Ming Dynasty, and at present in the Nelson Etiquette Museum of Art, Kansas City. Here, the tall thin trees, the blank areas of paper, the dotted brushwork indicated lichens on the rocks, the open spear style in the distant mountains. Here in the painting, Ni's style becomes much stronger, bolder and sturdier, revealing in this the predilection that led Shen Chao specially to the works of Wu Chen. Though he studied the works of these masters, but his paintings were no more imitations.
he infused into all pictures his own unmistakable handwriting and warmth of his personality. A typical example of his reworking of the old style is a great landscape in the Ni-Tizan manner. In his painting, Walking with a Staff is a hanging scroll, ink on paper. It is in the Palace Museum collection, Taichung. Here, Shen Chao preserves the basic Ni-Tizan formula. Sparse trees growing beside a river, with earthly, lumpy hills beyond. His single edition, an old man walking beneath the trees, is so quiet and inconspicuous, although its composition and technique follow Ni-Tizan closely. The mountains have expanded until they fill the picture space. The brushwork is less sensitive, is broader and more relaxed than that of the austere Ni-Tizan, and Shen Chao invites the viewer to share the beauty of the scene with a staff-bearing wanderer in the foreground, a concession to human appeal never found in Ni-Tizan. His other work, Watching the Mid-Autumn Moon, is also a hand scroll, at present in the Museum of Fine Arts, Boston. A work painted by Chao when he was around 60. It portrays the painter and three friends gathered to gaze at the moonlight from the full moon, which appears as a pale disk at the far left, mutes the colors of trees and buildings to cool thin tones. Shen Chao was a prolific painter. Probably more than 100 Guinean works from his brush have survived, of which the earliest dated painting was done when he was already 37. A leaf from an album is a characteristic work. The view from Shen Chao's study window. Here, the free yet firm drawing of trees and rocks show his debut to Wu Chen. At the same time, the soft lyrical color, the natural treatment of the fence, and the artist's interest in the activity of the gardeners all reveal a direct and human approach. Wen Cheng Ming. The most important among Shen Chao's pupils was Wen Cheng Ming. He was active from 1470 to 1559, who was more than 40 years junior. His earlier education was in Suzhou. Later served for a time at the capital in Peking. As a scholar in the Hanlin Academy, assisting in the compilation of the official history of the Yuan dynasty. He soon abandoned this official work and returned home in the south and devoted his lifetime, the 3 remaining decades, to literary compositions, calligraphy and painting, and became renowned for all the 3. Like his teacher, Shen Chao studied and imitated works of old masters. When 79, painted a large picture, Old Trees by a Cold Waterfall. It is dated to 1540, a hanging scroll, ink and colors on silk, and at present in the Palace Museum collection, Taichung. This painting represents his finest work, the display of calligraphic brilliance. Delicacy is sacrificed to forcefulness. The brush moves swiftly and fluidly across the surface to build a dense and disordered tangle of pine and cypress trees. Like Wang Meng, he drastically limits space in his picture. Like Wu Chen, he painted rocks, flowers, and bamboo, and even experimented with the archaic blue and green technique. Wen Chengming most typical pictures are his landscape scrawls, depicting the ideal life of the retired country gentleman. A delightful example of Wen Chengming's precise style is a scroll, A Farewell Visit, dated to 1531. Here, one of the two gentlemen seated under a tree is perhaps a scholar about to depart to some distant government post. With this official hazard, they did not know when they might meet again. Here, they talked together, and their contentment to each other's company being delicately suggested by the artist's choice of style. The precise manner which Wen Chengming practiced to the end of his life is in striking contrast to the rough style of many paintings in his later years. The latter is seen chiefly in his powerful ink studies of pine trees and junipers, whose gaunt, writhing trunks, growing in a landscape of bare rocks, seem symbolically of the unconquerable spirit of the old scholar himself. A Yuan dynasty critic writes, when lone, Wen Chengming always painted bamboo, when angry and orchids, when happy, and explains that the bristling leaves of the bamboo sticking outward like spears allow the expression of anger, while the buoyant and graceful lines of the orchids were suited to the feeling of elation. With two such creative and prolific artists at its head, the Wu school expanded rapidly. Among those counted as friends and disciples of Shen Chao and Wen Chengming, the best known are Lu Qi and Chen Shun. Both these artists lived unworldly lives, little concerned with practical affairs, absorbed in studies of the Confucian classics. Both practiced poetry, calligraphy, and painting. Their training as calligraphers helped to provide them with the mastery of brush technique and sense of design which they needed as painters. And besides this, their poetic in imagination supplied suitable themes. This poetic element is found strong in Lu Qi's work, that is, River Scene in the Spring. It is dated to 1535. It is a section of a hand scroll, ink and light colors on silk, and at present in the Palace Museum collection, Taichung. Here, Lu Qi tries to capture the clean, spare quality of Ni Tisan's style, even while elaborating the scene with hills, trees, and buildings, and relieving the ink monochrome with washes of light color. The combination of pale red-brown and blue-green tones, which were favored by adherents of the Wu school. A man sits immobile at the entrance of his cottage. The season is spring. The river is swollen by melting snows, and trees put forth sparse new foliage. Among other famous painted hand scroll of Lu Qi in Wu manner is Autumn Colors at Hossun-Yang, dated to 1554. It is a section of a hand scroll, ink and light colors on paper, and at present in the Freire Gallery of Art, Washington, D.C. And The Field of Jade, hand scroll, ink and color on paper, China, belongs to Ming Dynasty and at present in the Nelson Etiquette Museum of Art, Kansas City. This scroll shows another variations in the manner inherited from Wen Cheng-ming. Rocks, trees and landscape details fill the scroll from bottom to top and side to side. No horizon line, no sky mitigates the complexity of the composition. His brushwork is delicate and refined, but sharp and crystal. To overall patterning and small scale, Lu Chi added a peculiar tartness of color like lemon and lime. A short hand scroll illustrating the famous lute song Pi Pa Hissing of the tongue poet Po Chui in a style of his own. Lu painted landscapes and birds as well as flowers. In his bird painting, he followed the Gonghi style. For his landscape, the style of Wen Cheng-ming. An example is of a bathing one's feet, ascribed to Wen Cheng-ming. Ink on gold paper and at present in the Museum of Cologne. This is the pictorial variation on a line of poetry from the elegies of the Chu Chui by the poet Chu Yuan about 332 to 296 BC, who writes about withdrawal from the life of an official during troubled times. Shen Chao was another artist of the Wu school. He alone adopted the Mi Fu and Mi Yu Zhen's landscape style. His hand scroll, Mountains in the Cloud, it is dated to 1535. A section of a hand scroll, ink and light colors on paper and at present in the Freire Gallery of Art, Washington, D.C. is painted according to his own inscription in imitation of Mi Yu Zhen. Chen Shun's another hand scroll is of a lotus, ink on color on paper, belonging to Ming Dynasty and at present in the Nelson Etiquette Museum of Art, Kansas City. It combines soft and decorative color with vigorous boneless brushwork, that is, areas of ink and color applied with outlines. As a last specimen of Wu school landscape, an enchanting album leaf by Wen Xia is a landscape in the spirit of verses by Tu Fu. Dated to 1576, album leaf, upper section with inscription not included, ink and light colors on paper, and at present in the Palace Museum collection, Taichung is a good example. With two such creative and prolific artists as Shen Chao and Wen Cheng-ming at its head, the Wu school expanded rapidly until it included a good many of the leading Suzhou scholars.